Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chilluminati podcast, episode 146. As always, I am your host, Mike Martin, joined by the Hannibal Lecter and Clarice Starling of LA, Jesse and Alex.
I thought you were about to say Clarissa explains it all, and I was like, I don't know where he's going with this.
The Clarissa and Ferguson of LA.
Ferguson, no.
Nice. The Blossom and Six of LA, right?
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
And entire family of matters in LA.
No, it's the Urkel and Stefan of LA.
Oh my god!
90s sitcom and saxophone of LA.
You know what? You know what sucks is that I know for a fact Alex is Stefan and I'm Urkel. Like I don't even. There's not even I just know, and that sucks. That sucks.
I don't think I'm Stefan, dude.
I mean, out of the two of us, you're not Urkel.
You're not an Urkel type.
I'm sorry. You're definitely Stefan. Out of the two of us, that sucks that I know that no matter what, I'm Urkel.
I used to have a YouTube channel that brought together the joys of video games and science. Okay, just so you know, like science mythology.
Stefan does science. He also is just like cooler than Urkel. All I'm saying is, have you ever like fawned over a girl to the point of it being hilariously memed online? Because I have.
No.
You know what? It does.
I don't play loud like that.
I know.
I don't play loud like that.
Comparison. I think maybe Alex is the dad.
The dad from what?
Family Matters. You're the cop. You're a cop.
How do we get on Family Matters?
Ooh,
I
wait,
thought
question.
I was Clarice.
Next time can we be the dad from Family Matters and the cop? Well, actually the cop from Family Matters and the cop from Die Hard, and let the audience try to figure out that conundrum.
Which one's which?
Yeah.
Which one of us is Clarice and which one of us is Hannibal?
Okay. I guess that's to find out.
Okay.
The audience ought to figure that out.
Every time I look at Jesse and he's cooking, I'm like, is that human meat? What is it?
Do you want to taste?
You want to take a little bite?
It's not bad.
What is that?
Everybody, this is going to be a bit of a loose episode. It has been, I'll put the front, I have puppies now. And puppies are fucking exhausting. They are so tiring. I wake up at 6 a.m. and they through the night they stay up. And also we were supposed to do a guest episode today, but he ended up not being able to make it. So the next episode that you see will have Sinvicta on it, everybody. We'll be covering the Bermuda Triangle next episode. But this episode, we're going to do one of my favorite things. We're going to do a grab bag of cryptids.
These are chill. I like these.
I like these too. I wanted to pick another part of the world that, people wouldn't necessarily think of when you think cryptids, maybe a smaller, maybe forgotten part of the world. So I chose New Zealand for today. The New Zealand cryptids that I could find, get a little info on.
Interesting.
And if we need to, I also have some backup Australian cryptids on the off chance that, we just fly through the New Zealand cryptids.
What criteria are we going to be judging them on today?
That's a good question.
What fickle terms shall we?
I leave it up to the two of you, as always. How do you want to rank these cryptids? You could think New Zealand. You could maybe rank it in terms of hobbits.
How many hobbits?
How many hobbits would it take to take down this particular cryptid? I feel like if I do
that, I'm going to literally get a gun, like a bullet. Somebody's going to send me a bullet in the mail from New Zealand with my name on it.
Is it going to take 10 hobbits or one Gandalf to take down this cryptid?
Don't do this.
Gandalf or Fellowship?
Yeah. Fellowship or Gandalf. Who's going to have to take this?
No. Okay.
0.5 Galadriels, though, no matter what.
How about this?
Impossible.
Let's grade them on how likely they are out of 10 or likelihood out of 100% that they will take over as the cultural touchstone that everybody senselessly goes to for New Zealand, even though it's just a movie made by Warner Brothers Pictures.
You want, if New Zealand is listening, you want them to make this their new tourist attraction.
I'm trying to say we're going to replace Lord of the Rings as the easy go-to in the minds of people all over the world for New Zealand. Something that's actually from and created in New Zealand might be better, I think, than Peter Jackson's adaptation of a book
But they're fantastic movies, and I've seen them, so I like them a lot.
He's there. That's true. You know, Mathis is still in that stage of life, like a baby, where if he's seen it, he likes it because he's seen so few things. He's seen so few movies that
he can't
just
judge.
It's just
what good
it's just
is.
a treat.
He like doesn't understand the concept of like
It's just a treat. It's like
all good. Mathy like
And baby.
Remember the first time you went in VR? Remember how crazy that shit was? Remember that?
VR has been ruined for me because that experience, Alex, that we went to. That was like VR Star Wars.
Oh yes, I've done that one. Oh my god,
that's
in
so
California
good compared to any other VR. That's the best.
Yeah, because it's interactive, man. There's like shit hitting you, and there's like
through rooms, and you touch stuff, and like nothing is. You can't just be in your bedroom, anymore. Like, you can't do it anymore.
No, it's not
There's
good.
apparently by the same company a Ghostbusters one.
Yeah, there was a Ghostbusters thing in Chicago. Yeah.
I want to go do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to contribute to Mathis's education as a movie watcher, please head to patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod, where now we have Chill Tracks, a legally distinct sort of movie commentary service that we offer, where we watch movies that are adjacent to the interests of Chilluminati podcast listeners. It's in the Venn diagram.
Loosely adjacent.
Last time we did the original Ghost Adventures documentary, which was terrible. And then before that, we did Mazes and Monsters, right? Which was,
which was terrible.
I can't remember if we did Mothman first or Mazes and Monsters.
And then we did Mothman first, which was terrible. So there's a theme, clearly.
No, Mothman was all right. Mothman was like a 6 out of 10. Mothman wasn't a total drag.
They did Grace from Will and Grace Dirty in that movie.
That is so true. That could not be more true. Anyway, there's a lot of movies there now. It's ever expanding. We're doing another one this month. We haven't decided what it is yet, but you can listen to them all, as well as all the other great stuff we have there. The minisodes, 15 minutes of extra show every single week, plus all like however many it is, 30 extra ones that you haven't heard yet in public, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know how many. There's a lot of minisodes that you haven't heard if you are not signed up.
I just did a recent minisode compilation, and it included the one with Mike Raparez from Vigi Game Apocalypse. That's how far
like
back
from the
they
Green
are.
Stone episode.
Yes, they're green. They're way back in the Green Stone.
Oh my god!
From the last in the trilogy of Green Stone episodes.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot there still. There's a ton to listen to.
But yeah, please go to patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod. That's how you support the show. That's how you keep it going. I love you guys. Please keep doing that. It rules. It keeps. Someday this will be my only job. I love it. Please. Please.
Oh, also, one more big announcement before we dive in, everybody. It's officially confirmed. If you are free on May 26th.
Oh, yes.
To Austin, Texas, or live in Austin, Texas, Chilluminati Live is coming back. We are going to be at the Parish this time around. Go to our Twitter. Go to ChilluminatiPod.com. Click on the big old poster and go buy yourselves a ticket. We sold out last time. We want to sell out again. So we will have a VIP experience that will be limited to a small number of people.
What do you mean VIP experience?
I mean, I'm going to strip tease for them, but they won't get to see it all. You know what?
I'm going to say we don't do that.
And I'm gonna moan into the microphone, "Hello, my little Chilluminati."
We're gonna workshop that bit. We're gonna get back to you with the real VIP experience. We're not sure what it's gonna be. It's gonna be better than that for sure. I cannot wait to go to Austin, Texas. I love Austin, Texas. This is the type of city where I'm gonna go like show up at mysterious restaurants. And
I was gonna say, are we gonna do like a few Austin days, boys?
We have to figure it out.
We're going to do a night in Houston because you're going to spend the first night with me in my house. And then we're going to drive to Austin.
Nasty.
Yeah. And then we're going to drive up to Austin. And yeah, we can do a couple days in Austin if you want. Texas hates Austin because it's like California, apparently.
Yeah, but like, there's so much cool stuff to see and do there. So like, whatevs.
I'm game.
I'm the Clarice Starling of California. So I got to get out to Austin and arrest a sex murderer.
And I'm the Hannibal Lecter of California. I'm going to help, but also eat a person.
You're going to eat Ray Liotta's brains.
I have never seen Silence of the Lambs.
Mathis is Ray Liotta.
I know a lot about it because it's just so pervasive in pop culture.
Mathis, I have something I want to feed you, and I know you're going to love it. I know you're going to love it. It's almost like it's a part of you, dude. You're going to love it.
I don't doubt that for how much I love true crime.
Yeah, I know. I got you.
That's actually not a bad one. Let's just lock it in. Let's do fucking Silence of the Lambs. Next movie. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I'm down to do Silence of the Lambs. If you want to do Silence of the Lambs, the next Chill Tracks, there you go. Done. All right, we're gonna do a good movie.
I was
hope we
going to
can still make
recommend a
fun of
Nicolas
stuff.
Cage movie, but like, hey, this is a better choice.
Dude, I want to do a Nicolas Cage movie so bad.
I got a good one, and it is bad, y'all. It's bad.
I'm so excited.
What is the name of it?
It's called Pay the Ghost.
Oh my God.
And it is a horror movie.
I don't even want to
about
know anything
ghosts.
else. Yeah. I just got to know. I just got to watch it. The title alone is so stupid.
Yep.
What
we got
about
our
them?
next two movies
What about
lined
them
up.
cryptids?
Yeah. Let's
from
talk about
New
some
Zealand.
New Zealand cryptids.
Oh, that's
All
the
right,
worst. We're the worst.
gentlemen.
Send us to jail.
Whoa, what was that
New
accent?
Zealand. New Zealand cryptids.
No, he sounds like Borat. I don't want to join. I don't want to join with him. I don't want to be on that. I don't want to be associated with that impression.
my Hobbit wife,
Mary and the Pippin.
Thank you to Talkspace for sponsoring this episode. And listen, using Talkspace is kind of like having a therapist in your pocket. That's why being able to reach out to my therapist or psychiatrist anytime from anywhere makes taking care of my mental health super easy. I'm more relaxed when I'm traveling, knowing if I need to talk to my therapist, I can just send a message from wherever I am. Working through things in therapy can be tough, but connecting with my therapist isn't. I've been going to therapy for about 2 years now, and I can genuinely say it has completely changed my life. The way I've taken my life, the direction I've decided I want to go, all of that was because of therapy. And Talkspace lets you send and receive unlimited messages with your dedicated therapist in the Talkspace platform 24/7. With Talkspace, you set goals with your therapist and they hold you accountable and make sure you're really progressing. Therapy can help you shift your perspective, find tools to cope in difficult times, and be a guiding light. As a listener of this podcast, you'll get $100 off of your first month with Talkspace. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com. Make sure to use code CHILL to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's CHILL and Talkspace.com. How would he call Sam?
Borat?
Yeah, how would he call his friend over? How would he call Samwise?
He would probably say something too dirty to repeat on this show.
Okay. All right. Cryptids. We got to focus. All right. On the ranking system, here we go. New Zealand, if you're listening, we're going to discover your new mascot. The first of our cryptids is the moa. The moa were giant flightless birds native to New Zealand, and they actually did exist.
I've heard of these. Yes.
Yeah. They were comprised of a total of 9 species, ranging from the size of turkeys to nearly double the height of humans.
What in the world?
Yeah, they were. There's actually a picture of a couple pictures of them. If you can Google, all in black and white, or like what's purported to be, and like it looks almost like, what was the long necks?
Like a brachiosaurus?
Yeah. I just want to make sure I got that right.
This is a real thing, though, right?
Yes, but it doesn't exist anymore, or does it? We're starting out a little tame here, a little tame. The largest of was the South Island giant moa, which could grow to a height of about 11 feet and weighed nearly 800 pounds.
That is fucking JP, the Lost World situation right there. That is like Steven Spielberg dinosaur blockbuster.
You know what they are? Oh my God. They're the dinosaurs. You know the scene where they're in Jurassic Park? I can't remember.
The Gallimimus.
Yes, the Gallimimus. They run in the herds. That's exactly what these things are.
Oh my God. I don't know how I didn't think of that.
That's right. I was in elementary school in the 90s, so I know everything about
I was about to call them
fucking
a Diplodocus,
dinosaurs.
but that's not what that is at all. So you're totally right.
Yeah.
I did watch Jurassic Park in school, I think a couple times. I think my teacher's throwing it on.
If you haven't seen Jurassic Park, you literally you were born at the age 25. You were never a
born
child
with an iPhone in your hand. Yeah. You missed it.
So these guys belonged to a group of birds known as ratites, which also included ostriches, emus, and kiwis. Genetic studies suggest that the closest living relative of the moa are the flight tinnimus of South America, once considered to be a sister to the ratites. They were the largest land animals in New Zealand, being found in forest, shrubland, subalpine habitats. The moa's main predator was the Haast's eagle, the biggest eagle to have ever existed. Both became extinct alongside the moa soon after humans arrived around 700 years ago. Surprise, surprise. We killed all of them when we arrived in
Crushing
the area.
it, fam. Human represent humans. What's up?
ruined everything. Their main cause of extinction was by the Maori, who exploited the abundance of moa along with the mammalian predators that they brought with them, causing them to go extinct within 100 years of their arrival. So humans showed up, and in 100 years, they were all gone.
What a crazy 100 years that must have been.
Just pure bloodshed.
The slaughter of the dino birds.
Honey, wake up. It's time to go slaughter some moa.
That is.
But I don't think anyone, you have to consider that. I don't think anyone, especially if you're like a southeastern island tribal people, I don't think you were thinking we're destroying. It seems
no, we're just doing what humans do.
Yeah,
which is just take over an area.
Yeah, I don't think it was the modern capitalist version of no, we take it. I think it was just
no, it
happened. Yeah, humanity does that.
They showed up where they were at, and they found a good, probably food source, probably supply source.
Yeah,
but that's what it all starts as anyway. The only reason it's different now is because we got iPhones. You know what I mean? We got
yeah. After that 100 years, generations went by. And eventually the moa was totally forgotten about until the Europeans arrived, when the remains of the moa were once again found. It's believed that early ancestors of these birds actually could fly, reaching New Zealand around 60 million years ago when they first arrived.
Giant flighted birds.
That's horrifying.
Are they,
but also 60 million years ago
is that like pterosaurs? Is that what they think?
60 million years ago? Is that dinosaur time? Off the top of my head, I know.
65 million years ago is the
64 is dinosaurs. So, these would be a close ancestor of I don't know, what comes after the Cretaceous period, whatever that period is. Probably.
Because everybody says that dinosaurs didn't I don't know. I don't know the current wisdom. It's been science obviously is always in flux on stuff like this, but I don't know. If they did evolve into birds, what the hell? It was a flighted moa that's twice the height of a man.
That's it's horrifying to think about.
That's a Monster Hunter. That's dead ass nonsense.
It's the first couple of missions in Monster Hunter. Yeah, you're right. Once they arrived at the island, though, they became totally isolated from then on until humans showed up and made them extinct. However, there have been a few sightings of the bird ever since their extinction, dating back to the 1800s. In fact, in 1820s, somewhere around there, George Pauly, a man by the name of George Pauly, claimed to have seen a bird 20 feet high by an unnamed lake in Otago region of the southern island.
Had he just landed there in his house with balloons on the top?
Yep, exactly. He said as soon as he saw the thing, he completely ran away. Walter Buller wrote that the Maoris claimed a large kiwi lived in the Chatham Islands until about the 1830s. Aren't kiwis super tiny birds?
They're little,
super small.
They're little. They look like a character from Earthbound. They don't look like they could be real.
Yeah, but they're tiny though, aren't they?
I don't know how tiny. I mean, what's tiny?
Maybe I'm crazy. I thought they were maybe a foot high at most.
Oh, I think you're right. I think they're the size of a kitten. Maybe a little smaller.
Oh, well, it's not the only site of a giant kiwi. In the 1840s, Australian bird painter John Gould reported seeing what he described as giant kiwis on the South Island as well.
Actually, it looks like some of them get pretty big. Sorry.
Yeah. This one was around a meter tall, and Gould's spurred feet description had matched those of fossilized moa footprints found on the North Island. And in the mid-1840s, the crew of the whaler Magnolia reported trapping a big emu that weighed 500 pounds. The captain, who was a taxidermist, was said to have preserved the bird to send it to the London Museum. However, no known specimen was ever sent to the museum.
Emus, though, Australia lost a war to emus. So just,
they lost a war to emus?
That is the best story. Yeah.
Look it up.
They had Gatling guns or something versus the emus, and they couldn't win.
Whoa, wait, what?
I don't think I made that up.
Can we do an episode on the war against emus?
It's more just sad and gross and awful than it is mysterious in any way.
So can I tell you guys something amazing? I love the science part of the internet. So I looked up what the period. I was like, all right, well, what takes place after 65 million years? In the geological timeline. What's that called? It's called the Paleogene period. of time, and that's sort of like immediately after the dinosaurs. It's the rise of the mammals, it's all that stuff. But the best part of this entire thing, I'm going to link it to you right now, is on that page. It talks about the rise of giant birds, and there is an image of what appears to be a dodo battling one of the birds we're talking about, and it is incredible. And I just want you to know,
oh my God, that's wild. That's cool.
Just put it out there. We should definitely include that on the subreddit because it's
like dinosaurs fighting. This is like literally like a Pokemon battle.
It's
this is
dinosaurs.
Nonsense.
Yeah,
fighting.
looks so good. So that is, I get what you're talking about. It's 100% just giant birds during this time period. So it makes sense that they would, if you are in New Zealand and it's cut off and they have all these other crazy animals there, that as the rest of the world changes and all these different things are in flux, there in New Zealand, you still have the giant birds. Checks out. It's pretty cool.
I've got a couple more sightings and an actual possible picture of one and a news article of one. So in 1867, 4 gold miners claimed to have seen a moa, quote, on Saturday, July 27th, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, whilst enjoying a pipe by the side of a small fire in our hut with the door open, my attention was suddenly directed to a large animal on the opposite range. I was not long in doubt as to what the stranger was. My mates cried out, "It's a moa!" And the moa sure it was. The bird must have been more than a mile in a straight line from us, but as the horizon was clear, every movement could be detected. The bird was evidently going at a great pace, and I can only compare it to the movements of an emu or an ostrich. We had a full view of the bird for more than 2 minutes when he suddenly disappeared on the other side of the range. So a nice little 1860s diary entry of one that saw it. And I can imagine if I saw a giant bird off in the horizon, knowing that a war of emus was coming, I'd be scared. I'd be horrified.
Big birds, it's not. Have you ever been in the presence of like one of these types of birds? Like an ostrich or an emu?
Like a zoo or something. Yeah.
It is crazy.
I know that I had to have brought this up because it feels very much like something we talk about on this show, but another great show, Radiolab. I'm going to say like
even better than our show, even.
I mean, like it's like a distant second compared to the show, but anyway,
might be as good as ours.
But one of the episodes they did featured this weird skull that they had found of like an ancient man. And they couldn't figure out what killed this guy. And they were doing all these studies on it. And they were like, oh, it could have been a saber tooth. Like clearly he was attacked by something, right? And there were these weird marks on his face. And,
I remember this.
And one of the things that happens is they discover that there are actually claw marks inside his eyes and when, like his eye sockets. And when they do the research, they're like, oh, the only thing that has claws that would do like on the forehead and up in the eyes are birds, like talons. And so the whole episode they do devolves into this thing that's kind of like, you know, when you're out at night or like out and you see a shadow above you, your initial reaction is to immediately be like scared and look up. That is very similar to probably what these people were feeling. And it's like ingrained in our DNA because at one point in time, human beings were terrified of giant birds snatching them up.
God, dude, I can't imagine like getting my eyes poked through my skull with giant emu basically stomping me to death.
That'd be pretty rad. Like in terms of ways to go, like, I mean, it's pretty metal. Sure. Like I'm pretty into it. Yeah.
I don't want to get picked up by a bird and like by my eyes and like carried away. That sucks.
If I can die in some sort of way that like a dude in a monster movie would die, I don't care. That would be rad. I would be fine with that.
All right.
I'd make a show of it. I'd be like, oh, I'd be like,
oh. All right. 2 more sightings and one with the photograph. Here we go. In 1993, 3 hikers claimed to have seen a moa in the Craigieburn Range in Arthur's Pass.
That's got to be not how you say that, right?
It's probably not how you say it. Dude, here's how it's spelled. You tell me how you would say this.
All right.
There you go.
You know, goddamn, that's not how I thought it was going to be spelled. I'll tell you that much.
How would you say that?
Craigieburn. That's all I got.
That's all I had too. One of these people who was hiking was actually a former SAS soldier and mountaineer, Paddy Freeney, who had managed to chase the bird and take a photograph of what appeared to be a fleeing moa. Later analysis by specialists at Canterbury University concluded that the picture seemed to show a genuine bird. A year later in the same vicinity, a physician found unusual browsing damage on plants that could only have been made by a moa, at least he proclaimed. So here's the picture that was taken. And
Can't wait to see
Very
this.
curious on what your thoughts are
Can't
going to
wait
be
to
on
see
this
this
thing.
I bet it better be a very clear picture of a giant bird.
Come on, bro.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. This is like a joke from a Muppets where they like cut to who the culprit could be and they're trying to pretend like it's not a chicken.
Canterbury University said it is clearly a bird.
What am I even looking at?
A blurry bird is what it is.
This is a photo from 1993. This isn't even like a 60s photograph.
There's no any context for height.
nothing.
It looks like a chicken.
It's also the photo looks cropped. Like, and yeah, you're right. Any context for height or anything like that is ruined because it's such a close up of a blurred photo.
It deadass looks like a chicken from like The Far Side. Like it looks like a fucking drawing of a chicken.
It's true. It does not. It's a terrible picture. And the fact that the Canterbury University, they use like that as evidence. Well, the Canterbury University concluded that it was a bird.
Take that offline, Canterbury. That's embarrassing. Don't have that on there.
Another one of their crazy tales.
That's just that's for the people who failed at English in college.
I had to read that horrible book. I hated it.
It's barely a book. It's like before books. It's like,
well, I think that's you can't get better than that. That's the photo. We'll end on that.
You
guys.
can't
If you
get
want to
better
look at
than
these
that.
I
things,
argue you could probably
that's
get
like
a little better.
That's
than
like
that.
the best sighting that we could get of a moa. That's like it. That's
I might
the most
as well
evidence
have
we
just
have.
imagined it with my eyes closed.
It probably looks a lot better that way.
Yeah.
So that's the moa. All right. Give me a rating. Do you think the moa is better than Lord of the Rings as New Zealand's #1 attraction?
Nothing.
give it like
no.
I'm gonna give it like a 70%. I think it's pretty good. Like if somebody found one of these, for example, that would be they would have to do some like this could be like the bald eagle of New Zealand.
Nothing about this is better than anything in Lord of the Rings. Even that one orc who was like, "Meat's back on the menu." Like even that guy's cooler than this.
What about the fact that it made the country of New Zealand under the thumb of Warner Brothers Pictures?
I mean, that's look. That's sad, but like
all this bird's trying to do is to grab somebody's eyes out once or twice, every once in a while, every couple 100,000 years. They're just trying to grab somebody's eyeballs out of their head. That's it.
All right. Let's actually
Just
have an
like
idea.
a car
1,
alarm. I'm
2,
so sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
Cannot. 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 cryptids total. Why don't you rank them in order? Where would you put
6
it on a list of
6
6?
immediately?
Number 1 at the moment.
Okay.
Same place in this list at the moment. Jesse's got it in last. I've got it in first, but there's only one thing on the list.
There's only one spot. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Let's move on to the next one. The Cabagon. The Cabagon is a cryptid that was very first spotted off the coasts of New Zealand by a Japanese fishing boat, the 28th Maru in Nihongo in 1974. The Cabagon literally means hippo monster in Japanese.
It sounds like a Godzilla enemy.
I'm going to send you a picture or a drawing because there's no photo of this thing. And they believe that they named the monster basically on impulse. They just saw the thing and they immediately named it, and it just has been named that every day. Here is a little artistic interpretation of what they believed they saw.
Okay.
Yo, that thing is from outer space.
That it like actually dead ass looks like a monster that could be a rubber suit. Like
Yes, it does.
dead ass
it really
looks
does.
like one of those monsters from like Power Rangers or literally like Godzilla.
Godzilla versus Cabagon.
Look at that thing.
The most notable physical features of this creature are very large eyes and huge nostrils, a large head measuring about 1.5 meters in height from under the nostrils to the top of the head.
Pokemon.
So those big holes. Yeah. The coloration they said was grayish. In general, the head of the creature resembles what is known as an imbozu. And I'm just going to link. It's a sea monk. It's a whole other cryptid. It's a whole other thing. But it's like this monk that is in Japanese mythology, a sea spirit. It dwells in the ocean, usually emerges during storms, sinks ships. So that was like the thought that they had when they saw the Cabagon.
He looks kind of friendly to me. I got to be honest. Like he look.
I do. You know what?
He looks kind of shy.
I feel
he
like
looks kind of sheepish.
Fun.
Like he's like, oh, I don't want to say hello. Oh
No, he looks like one of those rubber suit guys. You're absolutely right, Alex. Except he just has no expression and still kills you. You know what I mean? Like from the 50s movies.
Backwards like this, and like an explosion happens like next to him. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I got one other
Gets
picture
hit with like a piece of wood, and he like bends a little bit. And you're like, oh.
Actually, let me.
Only,
you guys are like
Ultraman
dead.
can really defeat him.
Guys, you guys are so dead on in the way this thing looks. Hey, I will show you this picture in a minute. We're going to really quickly go over what they believed they saw. So in the afternoon of April 28th, 1974, on February 13th, 1958 at about 7 p.m., all members in the afternoon of April 28th, 1974, all the people of the ship, including the captain Kimura of Japanese fishing vessel 28th Kampanaru, as I said prior, they witnessed a large creature off Littleton Peninsula. This is when they saw the large head and nostrils measuring to what they believe to be about 1.5 meters. And Captain Kimura sketched the animal, which is the sketch you saw. That is actually the captain's drawing of what he thought he saw. Local magazine in New Zealand, the New Zealand Weekly Magazine, later picked this sighting, and mysterious footprints were reported on a beach nearby the sighting location. However, no physical sightings have been reported since then, and I'm going to show you this magazine from Japan depicting.
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yes.
Yo!
Yes. Yo, that guy is a Pokemon. That's a cute.
It looks like a cartoon tarantula that is giant and lives in the ocean.
Alex, oh my God. Have you seen that YouTube video series with that like cute tarantula? It's like, hello.
Yes.
And he's like, it's like a,
yes.
It's exactly what that is.
Like
it's exactly
that, except huge.
Just as cute though.
Yeah. In that interpretation, he looks furry.
Yeah. He looks like he's got like, like
weird.
that thick, hard fur.
What's kind of fun is that the bottom two sets of eyes look a little bit more shocked than the top two. They kind of do.
The top set of eyes look like his eyes, and the bottom set of eyes look like Mario threw his fucking little hat onto his head and took him over.
True.
The Cabagon was initially speculated as a misidentification of pinnipeds, which were like walruses and such. However, the latter was denied as the species only inhabits the Arctic waters of the Northern Hemisphere. Some indicate that the creature is a remnant descendant of the Desmostelidae. Oh my, it's a scientific name of that particular species. I'll copy paste it so you can see it.
This is a type of like walrus or something?
Like classification of like walrus or some
I honestly,
thing.
Especially looking at that first picture and like thinking about how seal looks, I could totally see them seeing that picking out of the water and kind of getting a different idea of how it's shaped and what it does.
Yeah. That's exactly what they are. They're an extinct family of herbivorous marine mammals belonging to the order of Desmostelia. They lived in the coastal waters of the northern Pacific Ocean from early Oligocene through the late Miocene, existing for about 26.7 million years. Now you've learned.
That's a lot of years.
Cabagon. So yeah, it's a long time. However, the descriptions of the creature actually fit to several species of pinnipeds, such as the leopard seal and southern elephant seal, especially southern elephant seal, the largest of living pinnipeds, reaching 5 to 6.5 meters in length, can be possible candidate for this record. That's all we really have on the Cabagon. He's not nearly as well documented as the Moa. Sorry. So, but he looks really cool, and I like that he's like an oceanic cryptid. What would you rank him on your list of potential New Zealand attractions?
What are you know how we have like a baseline of what we're trying to, because here's my thing. I'd rank him on like very high. Obviously he's the 5 and the other guy was the 6. Like there's no doubt this guy's better.
You put this guy above? Seriously?
Oh yeah, this guy's
giant
above.
moa birds? Really?
Yeah, this guy's above. Right. This guy's awesome. But more importantly, but here's the problem. This is my conundrum. This dude, he is a water-based creature, but furry. Hence, I don't know how cool that is because I feel like that would suck to be like a giant like wet furry dog. Water thing. Like that would suck. So like if we're basing it on like his ability to be a good creature, I feel like he might be lower than the giant birds because the giant birds at least like had their shit together. I don't know.
Well, but stuffed animal factor.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we're talking about the cuteness factor,
if we're trying to knock LOTR off the top rung, You know, you got to bring the cute sometimes. And the Moa is awesome. The Moa, like if it was like Teenage Moa Ninja Turtles or whatever, Teenage Mutant Ninja Moas.
That still sucks. Imagine these guys as Ninja Turtles though.
Too big.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Four-Eyed Furry Beasts. Like these guys would be amazing.
The entire sewer system of New York City would be like destroyed.
Yeah, I love these. Guys. This is my 5.
Splinter
These guys
would have died. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put it for this purpose. I'm gonna put it above the Moa, but I still like the Moa more.
Okay, all right. Next up is the Zuyo Maru creature. This is another cryptid that was actually discovered off the coast of New Zealand by a Japanese fishing boat. It was actually a carcass that was pulled from the sea, decay, like half.
So they got a good look at it.
It's strange.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll get you the picture. Its strange appearance led many to believe it was the remains of a plesiosaur, which is an aquatic prehistoric reptile that some believe could be Nessie. But later testing of the tissue showed that it was most likely a decomposed basking shark or perhaps an undiscovered animal altogether. Let me get you guys the photo.
What year is this from?
So you can the 70s again, I believe. I just said. Yep, 77. 1970.
So more recently even than the previous.
Yeah, just like about 3 years more.
I'm waiting for this thing to look exactly like a shark.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this.
I'm having issues with the photo loading for some reason. Here you go, boys.
Oh, Jesus. Looks like a fucking Bloodborne boss. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to make of that.
Yo, that thing is awful looking.
It looks like Khonshu from like the current Moon Knight series.
Oh, speaking of, loved episode 1.
Enjoyed
loved
it,
episode
but
1.
I knew of all the people, you would be the one to like be like, I like it. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. Okay. So the discovery of this thing happened on April 25th, 1977 by Japanese trawler Zuyo Maru sailing 30 miles east of Christchurch, New Zealand, caught an enormous rotting carcass in his trawl. The crew were convinced it was an unidentified animal, but despite the potential biological significance of the curious discovery, the captain, Akira Tanaka, decided to dump the carcass into the ocean again, so not to risk spoiling the caught fish that they just had. However, before that, photos were taken. Some people made some sketches of the creature, and they nicknamed it Nessie by the crew. Measurements were taken, and some samples of skeleton, skin, and fins were collected for further analysis by experts in Japan. The discovery resulted in immense commotion and a plesiosaur craze in Japan, as the shipping company ordered all its boats to try to relocate the dumped corpse again. And they could obviously never find it because it's the fucking ocean.
Right. It's gone.
Luck.
It's gone.
I don't know.
Look.
Oh, shit. We should have taken it
I'm not
home.
saying that looks to me like a plesiosaur for sure. I'm not saying that, but it definitely looks fucked up enough that I can see why people were taken with it. Is that supposed to be the head there off to the side?
Yeah. Yep. That's supposed to be the head limped off to the right-hand side.
So that's interesting. It does look like it's on the end of a long aquatic neck. But
I mean, if you
could be chunks missing, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I get. Here's the thing: is if you go off what a plesiosaur looks like, and you say that that's the head, assuming that's actually the head, then yeah, you can see where like the side fins would be. You can see kind of where like but it also could be one of those things where once again the human mind always tries to make order from chaos, and we're looking at a thing here that we just don't know what we're looking at.
Right?
Yeah. So the one thing that they said it could be is a basking shark, right? So I think, yeah, here's a little comparison of a basking shark held in a similar position to the corpse.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's... If you... Because here's the thing, the neck...
Basking sharks are huge too, by the way.
Yeah, the neck of this thing, the thing is supposed to be its neck, that could just be a spine and the flesh
is just got
gone.
like everything eaten and the bottom jaw eaten. Yeah, I could see it also. Damn, that's a good pick though. This is a better picture even than the other one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well that bird picture. Oh yeah. Oh, you mean the other?
No, that bird picture, that's not a picture. That's I can't conclude that that's a photograph for sure.
It's definitely a photo of
whatever.
Something.
Sure. That could be watercolor if you ask me.
Once again, though, this is the only encounter that we've had of this creature. It was named after the fisherman who found it. So where would you rank this thing on the cryptid list because we have no idea what its abilities are. The closest thing we can compare it to in terms of the cryptids is Nessie. And I feel like Scotland already has Nessie as theirs.
Yeah. This one's not as big of it's not groundbreaking. It doesn't scream New Zealand to me.
Plus, this was found in the ocean, yes?
Yes, sir. Off the
by
coast
Japanese
of New
fishermen.
Zealand. Yep.
So I don't think even
that's true
New
of
Zealand
the
could claim it
Cabagon
as
too,
theirs.
though.
Yeah, the Cabagon was also Japanese fishermen off the New Zealand coast.
Yeah, but they really sold me on it. So this is you know what? This is the new 6.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I agree with the 6. I think I'd put this at 6 as well.
It's kind of got 6
all
energy.
of them.
Now that I've seen that shark,
Yeah,
I kind of feel like it might be a 6.
Okay. Thanks to Canva for sponsoring this episode. And hey, making content is an essential part of what I do to keep this show going because we make content. And it's not always a seamless creative process. Honestly, it's still really just the 3 of us kind of running everything from behind the scenes. So thumbnails, social posts, videos, all that is on us to come up with. And it takes a lot of time. But that's why now I use Canva Pro. Ever since I found Canva Pro, I can design anything like a pro on any device super fast. Canva Pro is a design platform that empowers you to create and share stunning content in just a few clicks. Designing with Canva Pro is amazingly fast and fun. You can choose from thousands of templates that are easy to customize, or you could just start from scratch if you have your own vision. Designing together has never been easier, sharing, editing, and commenting in real time. Canva Pro helps you stay organized, on the same page, and on top of team projects. No more misplaced files or tedious back and forth. You can design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a 45 free day trial when you use our promo code. Just go to canva.me/chill to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/chill. Canva.me/chill. Next up is the Mohau. The Mohau, also known as Maru, Mataud, Tuhorangi, Teongina, or Rapuai, described by Maori people. I'm so sorry, I did my very best on that.
That's like my 6th grade through 12th grade internet screen name collection.
The Maori people of New Zealand described it as being terrible creatures, half man, half animal. With a very aggressive temperament, they were only too happy to massacre and eat anyone that strayed into their
New
domain.
Zealand skinwalkers?
No, closer to Bigfoot, actually. You will see. I'll show you a really awful drawing. It's great.
Good.
Early encounters often talk of these creatures exhibiting aggression and throwing rocks to frighten people off. It was these creatures, largely found in the Coromandel Ranges, that were thought to be responsible for the find of a headless, partially devoured body of a prospector in the Martha Mine region in 1882. Later, further up in the foothills, the corpse of a woman was found. It was discovered that she had been dragged from the shack in which she lived while the remainder of her family were away, and her neck had been snapped. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Kind of weird to find just a neck snapped and no body, and the other one was torn up. Teonginas were greatly feared by the population of the lower Waganoi River, as they were said to viciously attack any fisherman who strayed into their territory. This vicious behavior, however, seems to have abated in more modern encounters, as the beasts in most instances flee on the sight of humans. They're believed from legend to be able to crush any strong Maori warrior with ease, employing their large, powerful hands. They're said to be tool-producing beasts using wood and stone. The articles crafted are said to resemble those produced by Homo erectus hominids. They are mostly believed to be an evolved orangutan that fled to these uninhabited islands of Polynesia.
That's me.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Mohau are depicted as being as tall as a man, completely hair covered, with marginally ape-like facial features. And with that description, I will give you the photo. Well, it's not a photo. I will give you the drawing of this creature that I have here.
Dude, what?
Are we going to have a thing included online for everyone to go look at?
Yeah, I'll do a Reddit post where all the photos I'm using are being
This looks like
uploaded.
somebody took a picture of the
Dude,
forest
come on.
and threw a fruit roll up on the camera, man. Like what? What the?
It's not a photo. It's a drawing. It's an artistic interpretation.
No, it's not. That's like MS Paint. That's like an AI drawing of Homer Simpson.
I love that they were like, yeah, and so this is where the hand would be. There is no distinction of that's where the hand. It's
drawing,
amazing.
It's a drawing of the Patterson Gimlin film, just like on a low res image of the forest, dude.
I love that. I love that description.
Low res image of the forest.
Man.
But you see what I mean? Like closer to like a Bigfoot than like any other creature.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks exactly like Bigfoot. Like, I mean, except it's done with like a brush tool from 1991. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah. The primary difference from human appearance being the extremely long fingers tipped with sharp talons capable of tearing apart tough
This is
prey.
Sabretooth from X-Men.
X-Men 1. I love that scene where he does that swirl around the top of the Statue of Liberty's like crown.
Oh,
he's like
yeah,
clings
Wolverine?
onto
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Or was that Wolverine who did that? I thought that was Sabretooth.
No,
My
Sabretooth
bad.
was played by like, I forget who it was, some wrestler.
Hey, Mathis,
Yeah.
do you know what happens to a frog when it's struck by lightning?
What does he say? Does he say
The same thing
what?
that happens to anything else.
Yeah.
That is one of the worst lines I've ever heard in a movie ever. It sucks so bad.
X-Men 1.
It's not cool at all.
X-Men 1 was before there was superhero movies, guys.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I loved that line as a kid. I was like,
Also-
oh, hell yeah.
I love that she had an accent in that film. Go back and watch the
Oh, yeah, did
trilogy.
she?
Aurora Monroe has an accent for some reason in that film, even though I guess she's supposed to, but like
She's supposed to
they
be
stopped
like,
that.
yeah, from Africa.
Yeah. No, they got rid of
Yikes.
that real quick.
The primary difference, obviously, like they have sharp talons, etc. They're often described as manimals. It is possible that if these man beasts existed prehistorically, they would have been more than capable of bringing down a large moa, for instance. The large talons spoken of seem to designate this creature's predatory nature. However, large talons are also found elsewhere in the animal kingdom in animals that rip open rotten logs to acquire nourishment. Considering the indigenous Maori used to eat the large, nutritious hoo-hoo grubs, it is not impossible that this beast may also be insectivorous. Mataud giants are described as being ape-like, around 3 meters tall, slow, clumsy creatures that are of a strong muscular stature. These creatures can be categorized as follows: those that are the stature of an ordinary human, those that are the stature of the Mataud. So there's like versions that are smaller and versions that are bigger. They come in varying
Like a
shapes
caste
and
system?
sizes. Yeah, I guess so. Like a caste
Like workers
system.
and hunters and stuff, foragers,
Like members of the Covenant?
Yeah,
Is that what this is like?
That's what this is. You got it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
grunts and elites.
It's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what, yeah, these are the New Zealand elites. It's possible that some of these man beasts may still exist in the more remote, isolated areas of bush throughout both islands. With habitat destruction and human encroachment, the species, if it survives, must unquestionably be on the brink of extinction or maybe already extinct. It appears the last bastion of the Mohau is in the Coromandel Ranges, where accounts seem to indicate they resided in their greatest population density. Footprints are in most instances the main evidence of these creatures, very similar to Bigfoot. In 1903, footprints larger than a man's were found in the Karagahake Gorge in Coromandel. In 1971, a trail of footprints similar to a man's, though extended in appearance, was located on snow-covered ground and led into a zone of bush on a hillside by a park ranger. In 1983, there was when a deer hunter chanced upon man-like footprints that could have been no more than an hour old along a riverbank in the Heaphy River area.
Imagine finding that. Can you just no
like,
one will ever believe you. Like, you know, like you find them, you're like, these are Bigfoot footprints. I'm going to go back and say I found them. Nobody's going to say that I saw Bigfoot.
Yep. And if you take pictures, nobody's going to believe you.
Well, you got to take them. You
It's
can't just draw them after the fact.
Right. Yeah. You got to take those pictures first and foremost. And in 1991, campers in the Cameron Mountains of the South Island elected to abandon their camp after finding unusually large man-beast prints near where they were camping.
Man beast.
Yeah, they just mean like large.
Yeah, no, I know what they
humanoid
mean. It's
footprints, I
just
guess.
like
It's a weird description.
it sounds like
Man-beast
a
prints.
He-Man villain. Man beast.
Sounds like what they call humans in like some kind of like made up, like, you know, like what they call them in like whatever those things are in Small Soldiers, the like.
Yeah. Oh my God. I loved that movie when I was a kid. I saw that movie so many times.
Sure.
I loved. Oh yes. Oh wow. That was
like when in Planet of the Apes, where then when they talk about humans, they're like man-beast comes.
One of my favorite encounters happened in 1970 when a party of campers also abandoned their camp because a large, what they called man-like creature assaulted them, screaming loudly and hurling rocks at their camp. Oh
shit.
Just like this creature comes out of the woods with handfuls of rocks.
Even if that was just like a crazy hermit, that's fucked up.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah. That's scarier in my opinion. I would prefer the cryptid because at least then you get to learn an experience of like a new creature. Yeah. This is like a crazy, wild man. Wow, that's awful. But that about wraps up the sightings of this creature and what it's all about. Where would you boys rank the Mohow?
The Mohow is like, I got to put it low, like with Nessie.
Mohow funk.
Maybe I'm going to give it number 5 just because here's the thing. Like it's better. It's better than the like shark carcass. That's Nessie. It's got its own little bit going on, but like low-key, these are just like the same thing as Bigfoot. Like, I feel like whatever people see in America that they're saying is Bigfoot, whatever that phenomenon is, whatever the real explanation is, I think it's the same thing in New Zealand. I don't know what that thing is. I don't know if there's a real ape man out there of varying sizes, the elites, the brutes, the grunts. I don't know what's going on out there. But
the wild world.
That's why I give it 5 instead of 6, but I don't think it's dethroned in LOTR. We got to leave that for the hippopus.
Yeah,
so Moa is still your number 1 then,
for me. Number 1, Moa. But if it's a double list, okay, I got to give it to the Cabagon because it's more marketable. Let's be honest.
Okay. Guessing, where'd you put him? Number 5?
Yeah, right now my 4, 5, 6 slot is filled. I'm waiting for something better to come along, and so far, nothing. Nothing beats Lord of the Rings.
Let me try and sell this one to you then, boys. The next up is the Taniwha. The Taniwha. I like that name a lot. The Taniwha from Maori mythology are large supernatural beings that live in deep pools and rivers, dark caves, or in the sea, especially in places with dangerous currents or deceptive breakers like giant waves. They may be considered highly respected kaitiaki, which means protective guardians of people and places, or in some traditions as dangerous predatory beings. For example, they would kidnap women to have as their wives. These things.
What do they have? Institutions of marriage?
Yeah, they have their own marriage system and they have to kidnap their wives to have them.
Okay.
Linguists have reconstructed the word Taniwha, which is from Proto-Oceanic, I guess, of Taniwha, meaning shark species. Basically, at sea, a Taniwha often appears as a whale or as quite a big shark, like a northern right whale or a whale shark. Compare the Maori name for the great white shark to Mongo Taniwha. I guess they're similar in how they kind of use the word.
They're both called Taniwha?
In inland waters, yeah. In inland waters, they may still be of whale-like dimensions, but look more like a gecko or a tuatara, which is a lizard also in New Zealand. So they're like whale-sized geckos.
So we're back in Monster Hunter territory is what you're saying.
Yes, this is very much Monster Hunter territory. Okay. Yeah, very, very much.
This is promising so far, I gotta say.
I agree. I agree. I won't say which one's my favorite of them because we still got more coming. The Taniwha have rows of spines along their back as well. Other Taniwha appear as a floating log, which behaves in a disconcerting way. Some can tunnel through the earth, uprooting trees in the process. Legends credit certain Taniwha with creating harbors by carving out a channel to the ocean. Wellington's harbor, Te Wangunai Atara, I'm sorry if I butcher that as always, was reputedly carved out by 2 Taniwha, according to legend. The petrified remains of one of them turned into a hill overlooking the city.
What?
Other Taniwha allegedly caused landslides beside lakes or rivers. Taniwha can be male or female, and is said to have arrived in New Zealand with the early voyaging canoes and her 11 sons the Taniwha Araiteru, which is a canoe, I guess, or canoe area, is where they apparently arrived from. There has been some speculation based on several marine sightings and on purported habitat and physical representations that the Taniwha myth may be based on periodic populations of saltwater crocodile, which rarely end up crossing the strait from Australia. Northern New Zealand presently appears to be just outside the temperature range where a population can sustain itself indefinitely, dying out during unusually cold winters.
And what do they need wives
so that's like
for?
the Yeah,
What do they get up to? I was thinking you were going to say they have like, houses and stuff. I don't know.
Well, we're going to get a little bit more into the mythology of them now. So most Taniwha have associations with tribal groups. Each group may have a Taniwha of its own, because remember, they can be guardians. That's what it translates to. The Taniwha Urea, depicted in this picture, which I will be showing you in a minute, was associated as a guardian with the Maori people of the Harukai district. Many well-known Taniwha arrived in Hawaii, often as guardians of a particular ancestral canoe. Once arrived in Aotearoa, they took a protective role over the descendants of the crew of the canoe that they had accompanied. So like the original Maori people, as they canoed into this area, they were protected by the Taniwha as their spirit guardian, basically. The origins of many other Taniwha are actually unknown. We don't know where the roots of the others are. When accorded appropriate respect, Taniwha usually acted well towards their people. Taniwha acted as guardians by warning of the approach of enemies, communicating the information via a priest who was a medium. Sometimes the Taniwha saved people from drowning.
I love this.
Because they...
This is Godzilla.
Because they lived in...
We're in there.
Because they lived in dangerous or dark and gloomy places, the people were careful to placate the Taniwha with appropriate offerings if they needed to be in the vicinity or to pass by its lair. These offerings were often of green twig accompanied by a fitting incantation. And in harvest time, the first kumara, which is a sweet potato, or the first taro, was often presented to the Taniwha as its tribute. Arising from the role of Taniwha as tribal guardians, the word can also refer in a complementary way to chiefs. The famous saying of the Tanui people of the Waikato district plays on this double meaning. Waikato Taniwha Raru. Waikato of the 100 chiefs is what it translates to, and Taniwha is part of that dedication. As they're in their role as guardians, Taniwha were vigilant to ensure that the people respected the restrictions imposed by tapu. Tapu is a Polynesian traditional concept denoting something holy or sacred. It involves rules, prohibitions, etc., etc., religious rules, basically. And Taniwha enforced these religious rules. They made certain that any violations of tapu were punished. Taniwha were especially dangerous to people from other tribes that were not under its protection. There are many legends of battles with Taniwha, both on land and at sea. And often these conflicts took place soon after the settlement of New Zealand, generally after a Taniwha had attacked and eaten a person from a tribe that it had no connection with. Always, the humans managed to outwit and defeat the Taniwha. Many of these creatures are described as being lizard-like form, and some of the stories say the huge beasts were cut up and eaten by the people who slayed them.
Monster
it's
Hunter,
really,
10 out of
really
10.
cool. It really is. Many Taniwha were killers, but in this particular instance, the Taniwha Karaware was eventually tamed by Tamure. Tamure lived in Harukai and was understood to have a magical power that was able to defeat the Manawa.
How to Tame Your Dragon. This is perfect.
yeah, exactly.
Perfect. I'm on board.
The Manukau people then called a Tamur to help kill the Taniwha, and the two creatures wrestled, and the Tamur clubbed the Taniwha over the head. Although he was unable to kill it, his actions tamed the Taniwha, and Kaiware still lives in the waters, but now lives on the food of crayfish and octopus. Basically, that's about it. We could keep going into more details, though we've got a couple more I want to get through before we wrap up. This is one of my personal favorites of these. Where do you boys sit with the Taniwha?
I'm campaigning for number 1 on the Taniwha. I like this.
Taniwha campaigning.
It's like a little
1.
Godzilla for everyone. It's it's like a mix between.
Here's a stone carving of what it would look like as like a gecko type thing.
Like, are you kidding me, dude?
I must say that the Taniwha not only is featured in a lot of popular culture, there's Taniwha stuffed animals.
There's
There's a
another one
Taniwha Magic the Gathering card that's $2.06 on eBay. There is
shit.
this delightful image of a Taniwha looking like Alex Fossiani on a beach with his friends.
What? Oh, hell
There
yeah.
is the Taniwha, number one. Taniwha is killing it right now. Everything, I guess there's a TV show called Wellington Paranormal, which I think is like...
That's related to What We Do in the Shadows, I think.
Yeah. There's an episode where they go find the Taniwha. There is Taniwhas everywhere.
I love it.
Huge fan of this.
I love it.
This is definitely number
Let's
one.
get this guy up
This
there.
is a
Number
solid
one?
one. Yeah.
All right. Is he number one for you too as well,
100%.
Alex? Did he bump the
bumps
MOA down?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right. We'll go into the next one. This next one is actually originated in Australia. However, there have been claimed sightings of this in New Zealand.
Is this 6 of 6?
And it's no, there's one more after this, and then it should be 6. So thanks to Audible for sponsoring this episode. And you should be heading to Audible right now and listening to the new Audible original, Summer in Argyle. It's created and written by Nate Odenkirk and his Father Emmy Award winner, Bob Odenkirk. Just pop in your earbuds and visit the town of Argyle, Ohio. It's a place that celebrates the spirit of close enough and enjoys both an annual hot dog eating contest and an annual murder. Listen, if you're a true crime fan like I am, you need to go listen to this story. Hear about Argyle's darkest secret, the mysterious death of a magnificent bowler who never bowled and instead warmed the bench the way Argyle folk love. Explore the town's hot spots like the DMV, that's also a fancy restaurant, and world's largest lost and found. Or get stitched up by the local surgeon who's also a magician. Oh, where'd that needle go? Oh, I found it, it's in your ear. Soon you'll be in stitches from performances by a cast that includes comedy greats like David Cross, Tim Robinson, Paul F. Tompkins, and more. This is one hot dog murder comedy with everything on it. Visit audible.com/summer in Argyle. That's audible.com/summer in Argyle, ARGYLE. And listen now. This one is called The Bunyip. Have you
Bunyip?
boys heard of the Bunyip
I have heard of
before?
the Bunyip.
I have an awesome picture of the Bunyip. How about you, Jesse? Have you heard the Bunyip before?
I don't think so.
All right, I think you're going to like this picture. I think Magic the Gathering when I see this picture. There it is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is pretty good, too.
Yo, that guy looks awesome.
Yeah, he really does
So,
look like a
this
Magic card. You're 100% right there.
Yeah,
But the other guy was a Magic card.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And also, you know, as a knock against the Bunyip, while it's been seen in New Zealand, it originates in Australia. So is it really a New Zealand cryptid?
That's not as somebody who's trying to do marketing for New Zealand. I think that's going to be a pain point. We're going to have to figure out some way to establish this as New Zealand-esque if we're going to.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to, but I'll give you the rundown of its origins coming from Australia. The Bunyip, which is translated in Aboriginal Australian to mean devil or evil spirit, also known as the Kian Prati, is a creature of Aboriginal mythology. It lives in swamps, billabongs, I love that word by the way, creeks, riverbeds, and water holes all over Australia and can be found in New Zealand. Bunyip in the Wemba language means devil or evil spirit as well. Aboriginal peoples used to tell tales of creatures that stalked the waterways and ate any prey item that came close. And the creature had developed a taste for humans, mostly for children. Many of the modern sightings that have come from the Australian people come in a wide variety of descriptions: scaly, furry, big, small, skinny, fat, and so on. The Bunyip then is represented as uniting the characteristics of a bird and an alligator. It has a head resembling an emu with a long bill, at the extremity of which is a transverse projection on each side with serrated edges like the bone of the stingray.
Transverse projections on each side. I'm out. No thanks.
Yeah. So it's like a sawed bill on the sides.
Like, wait, so what does that mean? Is he like a predator?
So it looks
what
like
does that
an emu.
mean?
It looks like an emu, and then it has like a long bill, and then the sides of the bill are like pointed like a saw, like pointy.
Okay, all right. I guess I understand that. Okay, I thought you meant like his mouth open like the freaking predator.
Oh, no. It just has like a saw-like thing on the side. The hind legs are remarkably thick and strong, and the forelegs are much longer than the rear, but still of great strength. The extremities are furnished with long claws, but the usual method of killing its prey is by hugging it to death. When in the water, it swims like a frog, and when on shore, it walks on its hind legs with its head erect, in which position it measures 12 to 13 feet in height.
Ugh, don't want to get hugged by it. I don't like that detail. That's creepy to me.
There's a bunch of descriptions for this creature. Some say it has a dog-like face, dark fur, a horse-like tail, flippers, walrus-like
Even just looking at the
tusks,
Wikipedia, it's like every single picture of it is totally different.
Yeah, it just looks all crazy. They not only do they say they like children, but some say it prefers women as well. One legend says that a man named Bunyip broke the rainbow serpent's greatest law by eating his totem animal. Banished by the good spirit Biami, the man became an evil spirit that lured tribesmen and their livestock into the water so that he could eat all of them.
God damn.
One of the first recorded accounts of the Bunyip took place in 1818 when James Meehan and explorer Hamilton Hume both found enormous bones in Lake Bathurst, located in New South Wales of Australia. They described the creature similar to a manatee or a hippopotamus. There's your Bunyip, ladies and gentlemen. Again, definitely has a knock against it because
I like it. I like
cryptid,
it.
really.
It has like a nice, good cultural background. I like that there's many different descriptions of it. But yeah, it's hard to put it as the emblem of New Zealand when it's not really New Zealand.
Where would you put it on your list?
I think I want to put it at number 4.
Okay.
This is for all my New Zealanders out there. This is a 6 because it is not New Zealand and I will not have it higher than the New Zealand things. 6.
All right. Last cryptid, gentlemen. We're going to end where we began with another big bird, the Pow Kai, also known as the Hakawai or the Hokioi. It's a carnivorous bird from Maori mythology. It's described by Sir George Grey, an early governor of New Zealand, as a huge black and white bird with a red crest and yellow tinged wingtips. In Maori legend, the Pow Kai was said to kill and eat humans. In Maori mythology, the Hakawai was one of 11 tapu, which means sacred, birds of Raka Mau Mau, the god of the winds. Hakawai lived in the heavens and only descended to earth at night, presumably to hunt. It was considered to be a gigantic bird of prey. This bird of prey has been killed in at least 2 separate legends. In one, Pow Kai was killed by Pungare Hu with a stone axe to help the Nukumai Tor, a race of fairies. So basically this guy was enlisted by fairies to help kill this giant bird. Hauotaroa also led a band of 50 men to kill one that had been targeting a local village by luring it into a hole, which caught the beast and allowed the men to kill it before ascending Mount Tarawara to finish off its young. So they went like, that's hardcore. They killed the beast and they were like, you know what? Let's also go kill this thing's children.
So
Hearing the call of the Hakawai was considered to be a bad omen, traditionally presaging war. Ornithologists in New Zealand believe the myth related to an unknown real-life bird species. As to whether it is a species that is extinct or still alive is unknown. Mention of the Hakawai has occurred in Maori mythology throughout New Zealand for centuries. Since European settlement of the main islands, direct experience of the Hakawai via its call is largely restricted to the Mutton Birds Island, several small islands in the vicinity of the Fovo Strait and Stewart Island. The islands have no permanent human residents but are visited seasonally from mid-March to the end of May for mutton birding, the harvesting of sooty shearwater chicks for food and oil. There, the sound... yeah, I know.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking this like this is crazy.
There, the sound ascribed to the Hakawai was described as having 2 main components. A vocal noise described as Hakawai, 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 hence its name, followed by a non-vocal roar similar to that of a jet engine.
What?
It is most often... Yeah, I know. It is most often heard on calm moonlit nights and typically sound as they come from a great height. So that's the Pow Kai.
This thing just sounds like it's real.
Yeah, but it comes from Maori mythology and it apparently eats people. There's no real image of it, no real sightings, just legends of this thing. I mean, big eagles and stuff, like you said, is not necessarily kind of unheard of.
There's nothing particularly fantastical about this bird compared to the other things. It is heavily It is heavily culturally relevant. It's kind of pretty. Do we have a good picture of it?
If you look it up, I got
the Hakawai on Wikipedia, but this bird
that might be what I have as
just
well,
looks
then.
kind of like a beautiful Audubon watercolor of a bird.
Yeah, I think we're looking at the same exact photo.
Are you looking at the image of it attacking the other birds?
Yes.
No, I'm looking at the Conocorypha aucklandica.
Oh, I'm looking at it attacking those big ass birds we talked about at the beginning, which to me places it above that.
The moa? This is what I've got.
This guy can attack the moa. This guy is above the moa.
Is this not the right bird that I'm looking at right now?
The thing you linked me to sent me to an empty page.
What? Wikipedia?
Alex, are you okay?
I sent you to a Wikipedia.
Are you guys not seeing this?
I am not seeing it.
All right, I'm going to link it again. You guys really aren't seeing this?
Oh, you know why? Your link, for some reason, the very last bracket is like not clickable. It's like a regular text.
What the hell?
I got it now.
Okay, so what you're looking at is 100% not what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, that looks like a kiwi.
I know, that's what I was saying, but it says it's the Hakawai, the Hokioi.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you said, right?
Hakawai. No, yeah. That's a picture of the supposed Hakawai. The one I sent you just looks like a giant eagle.
Yeah, we're talking about
descending upon its
this
prey.
one looks way dope compared to that one.
Kai?
This looks like the predator that you said it had at the beginning of the episode. Is it?
Yeah, doesn't it? It does kind of sound like that. It does look.
I would love to
like that
see this happen in real life.
That would be fun to watch. Where would you rate it, boys?
I'm going to put this one at number 3.
This is
fair.
This is my 4 because the first guy, Lamari, was 5. Right? No, this is my 3. You're absolutely right. This is 3. Maury 5. Weird carcass. Weird carcass 5. Maury 4. Australian guy
Bunny
6.
6.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Number 1, then I think we're all in agreement. Is the Taniwha.
Taniwha
is
it's
solid
so
one.
good.
The best solid one. Yeah.
It's the best. I agree. It's the best cryptid. When I was reading these, like 100% my favorite one.
Here's the question: better than Lord of the Rings?
I'm going to say, as a representative of the culture of New Zealand, 110%. Yes.
All right. I don't think I would want to replace Lord of the Rings with
You can still have Lord of the Rings. You just, when we talk about New Zealand, people should be like,
Sure. You know what? Yeah. I lost sight. I lost sight of the criteria we were looking
American.
for here.
I have no.
I forgot numbers, so it's all right. It's fine.
Taniwha, I agree, should be the draw of New Zealand. So government, if you're listening to us, your favorite podcast, please.
It clearly is important because you look it up and there's so much Taniwha stuff.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised I hadn't heard of it. I thought that was a super cool
If we ever do a show in New
cryptid.
Zealand, it's all going to be Taniwha themed.
Hell yes.
I would so be down for that. All right, y'all. That's going to wrap it up here for Chilluminati Podcast episode 146. We are off to the Patreon to do a mini-sode where we're going to talk about, I don't know, some weird news that we found throughout the week. And last time, go Chilluminatipod.com. Our live show is May 26th, Austin, Texas, in the parish. Get your tickets now before they're sold out. Chilluminatipod.com. Just click on the poster and buy your tickets. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Anyway, me and my wife were sitting outside indulging on our porch one night, enjoying ourselves. I needed to go to the bathroom, so I stepped back inside, and after a few moments, I hear my wife go, "Holy shit, get out here." So I quickly dash back outside, and she's looking up at the sky in awe. I look up too, and there's a perfect line of dozen lights traveling across the sky.